Hey guys, it's Wayne Santos, one of the editors here at CGM, and today's Sound Off is indeed an actual Sound Off. We're here to talk about net neutrality and the fact that we may be potentially waving it goodbye. Now, we're here in Canada, so this does not have a direct impact on us yet, because what I'm about to talk about is what's happening in the US right now. And that is the fact that the Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. has struck down the Federal Communications Commission's ability to protect what is now generally referred to as net neutrality. Now, why should anybody care about this? It's very, very simple. Up until now, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, has basically been watchdogging internet service providers and making sure that internet access is not under any undue control, beyond, say, the ability to, control the speed at which your internet comes in, or in some cases, institute bandwidth caps so that, one person can access only 60 gigabytes per month, whereas somebody else on a higher tier would be able to access like 100 or 150. Right now, or, like as of very recently, those were the only two ways that, your internet access could actually be impacted. But now, with the Court of Appeals saying, nope, Federal Communications Commission, you can't do that anymore. This basically gives internet service providers in the US the ability to control the public access to the internet in various ways. Now, one of the reasons that this even happened to begin with was because it came out roughly around 2007 or so, that one of the American internet service providers was actually throttling internet access to various services, and they claimed that ostensibly this was because they did not like the fact that so many people were using BitTorrent that it was just like clogging up the interwebs for everybody else. The only problem is that with the kind of power that these internet service providers have, they can do things like, if they have their own particular video streaming service and Netflix is also available on the internet, they can do things like throttle the service to Netflix, or go to Netflix themselves and say, you guys have to pay a higher premium to us if you want to appear on our service. Basically, it means that to the average user and to the companies that put out content on the internet, it is now possible for internet service providers to put out the same kinds of crazy plans that cellular phone users, it's like are currently saddled with, where, basic access to just being able to talk on the phone is one thing, but if you want your text messaging, if you want your internet access, if you want this, that, or the other thing, you've got to pay extra for all of those other things. Now, imagine, say, a year or two from now, because it would take a very, very long time for these things to come into effect in the US, even longer for them to probably trickle down to Canada. But just imagine that, it's like in the future, you're sitting there and every time you want to watch something on Netflix, or every time you want to use Skype or some other kind of messaging system, this is actually adding on to your subscription. That is not a really fun situation to be in. But with the FCC now having their hands tied by losing this appeal, this is the situation that people in America may potentially be facing in the future, and via trickle-down effect, this could be the same situation that we have in Canada. So if this is something that concerns you, and it probably should if you care about the internet and are watching this video here, you might want to look into this and then write to the appropriate people, it's like in your area of political interest, and just tell them exactly how you feel about this issue. Thanks. See ya. This is really important, kids.